Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video. I am so happy that you're here. Like, the book was okay. The dust jackets are in perfect condition. I know that this is so bad for you, but I literally can't stop.
Oh, you're shutting it.
These chapters are so long. If it's on the back of the book, I will be telling you. If you guys are anything like me, you probably have a TBR where you just keep adding books onto it. And sometimes that can feel a little bit overwhelming when you're trying to choose your next read because there's so many options. Hoping that in today's video, we can eliminate a little bit of that stress of picking a new book. I had the idea that I'm gonna be using a random color generating wheel and I'm gonna spin it. Whatever color it lands on, I'm gonna be choosing my reads based off of that color. For example, if our color wheel landed on a color like gold, I would only be reading books with gold covers this week. I'm hoping that this can help narrow down my options on my TBR, and I think that this could be a fun way to get through my TBR. I am just going to be doing basic colors, so I'm only going to be doing rainbow colors plus black and white. I know that there's book covers with other colors besides that, but I'm not going to be shade specific. If it lands on pink, I'll just be choosing any color of pink that's on the cover. I just found the color wheel online, and so I'm going to give this a spin. Whatever color it lands on, we're going to be picking our books based off of the color matching the cover color. So let's give this a spin. The wheel landed on black, and I'm actually not mad about that because there's already a few books that I'm thinking of in my mind that have black covers. So I'm gonna go through my TBR and come up with 2 to 3 books that we're gonna be reading this week that have black covers. The first book that we're gonna be reading this week is going to be The Ministry of Time by Kellyanne Bradley. I've had this on my TBR for probably 1.5 to 2 years, and I've just never gotten around to it because I don't read a ton of sci-fi books. But I recently read Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, and I've had such an interest in science fiction recently, and so we're gonna be giving this a try. This honestly doesn't look too long of a book. Let's see how many pages it is. Okay, it only has 332 pages, so I feel like that's very doable. I just love this cover. I feel like this is such a pretty cover. I actually waited for this book to come out in paperback because they had it in hardcover for so long, but I feel like sometimes hardcover just doesn't look good on my shelf. I like all of my books to match. I know that sounds a little bit crazy, but I honestly prefer a paperback, especially for smaller books. If it's a bigger book, then I'm okay with hardcover. But for a book like this, I waited for the paperback, and I'm super happy that I did. So we're gonna get started on this book right here. I'm actually gonna be looking for the audiobook because if you guys watched my last vlog, you know that I was in Nashville over the weekend. And because of that, I have a couple of bananas that are about to go bad, and I wanna turn them into banana bread. And so we're gonna be making some banana bread and hopefully listening to this book on audio. I'm not a huge audiobook girl. I don't listen to a lot of audiobooks. I feel like my mind wanders way too much. But with something like baking, I'm hoping that I can start listening to it while I bake to keep me a little bit of company and get a little bit of progress into that book.
Should we expect that? I am.
I know that this is so bad for you, but I literally can't stop. This is the Red Bull Iced Vanilla Berry. It's so good. I don't know what they put in this, but it tastes like cotton candy. I know that this is the full sugar version, which, sue me, I drink the full sugar stuff because the aftertaste of the sugar-free stuff is just absolutely horrible. So anyways, let's get into what I sat down to film, which is the Ministry of Time update. It's the next day since I spoke to you guys. Also, side note, the banana bread was insane. My husband and I literally ate a full loaf by ourselves yesterday. If you put it in the microwave for like 5 to 10 seconds, so good. And this is why I can't be in my baking era. I want to bake so bad, but I just have no self-control. But as you guys saw yesterday, I started listening to the Ministry of Time on Audible, and this is my first time trying Audible. They gave me like a free month subscription, so I'm gonna see if I like it, and then we'll see if I end up continuing to use it. I'm not an audiobook person. I really want to be, but I feel like I just don't have the attention span unless I'm doing something. So yesterday I got so far into this book on Audible because I did such a deep clean of our apartment. I literally cleaned everything. I've been trying to be better at sticking up to date with cleaning certain things like door handles, baseboards, window seals, all of those things that you don't even think about. So I did a bunch of that yesterday while I was listening to my audiobook, and honestly it made cleaning go by so quickly. And so honestly, I'm pretty far into this book. It says I'm only on chapter 6, but these chapters are so long. They're like an hour each, which I feel like is just ridiculous. There's no need for an hour chapter. Besides that, I'm enjoying it. Okay, literally, what is that noise? We have construction going by where we live, and so because of that, it's literally all hours of the day, and I mean that like dead serious. Last night we were woken up at 2 a.m. by the sound of like a jackhammer drill, which I'm pretty sure is illegal. Like I don't think you can do that past a certain time. Okay, the noise finally stopped. 61% of the way through, and this is how much I have left right here. Basically, a quick description is that our main character, it never really says her name a bunch, so I'm not really sure what her name is, but it's from her point of view. So our main character, she's a bridge and she works in the Ministry of Time. Basically what a bridge is she's like an assistant to the people that they pull out of time. The Ministry of Time is trying to see if time travel is sustainable for the human body, and so they pulled a bunch of people out from different timelines. So there's like the 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, and so on into current time. So our main character, she's a bridge to someone from 1847, and his name is Commander Gore, and he was a commander on a ship. And so him showing up into modern world, there's a lot of stuff that she's had to teach him, such as what Spotify is, what the internet is, washing machines, dryers, all of the above. He has a really hard time that they're living in the same house together because she's a woman and he's a male, and in his time that is unacceptable. There's a lot of quirky, goofy things that are kind of funny that she's teaching him, and he's not really understanding this. And so every once in a while they have to do check-ins with the ministry, and she has to report how he's doing and if there's any side effects on his body, how his health is, how his mental health is. But we just kind of had a major plot twist yesterday night when I was reading. I wanted to keep reading, but I had to be up early because we are going camping tonight, and so I needed to get a bunch of stuff done. And so anyways, I put the book down, but something big had happened, and I'm kind of starting to realize that there might be something that the Ministry of Time isn't telling our main character, that they might not have the intention that they say that they do. And so things are starting to pick up. It's a little bit of a mystery as to what's going on, but so far I'm enjoying it. I'm really liking the audiobook. If you want to read this book, pick up the audiobook. There is like a dual narrator point of view. So our main character, which is obviously a woman, she narrates most of the book. Right before each chapter, there's a little bit of a section about Commander Gore in his past life, and that's read in a male voice. So I'm really enjoying that as well. It's so nice that I have the physical copy because like I said, we are going to be going camping, and so I'm planning on bringing this with me. I'm really not a camper. I didn't grow up camping, but my husband loves it. So we're going to be going tonight with a group of friends, and the place we're going is only like 45 minutes away, and so it's totally doable. The weather is supposed to be pretty good. It's supposed to drop down to like the 50s tonight, which really isn't that bad, and we're going to be doing old school camping style where you sleep in a tent, and we're not going to have running water, but it's literally just for the night. So I need to do some last minute packing things, but I'm really excited to bring my book and read outside. I feel like I haven't read outside in so long. Where I live, we have winter like 7-8 months out of the year, and so the weather's finally been super nice. And so I'm gonna bring my book, I'm gonna take you guys along, and we're gonna do a little bit of a camping trip. Okay guys, we're all ready for camping. This is my camping fit, and then I just got some leggings on, and I'm gonna wear some old tennis shoes because I don't know if it's gonna be muddy or whatever. But Hunter's in the back. This is literally like all the stuff we're packing, even though we're going to be gone for one night and it's like 45 minutes from where we live. So a little bit overkill, but I'd rather be over prepared than under prepared. But if we do need anything, then there's stuff close by. Like we're not going to be in the wilderness. It's one night, but we have all of this stuff over here that we need to bring. So we're going to load up the car, and we need to get to our campsite before it gets dark so that we can set up our tent. All right, here is our tent for the night. That was honestly pretty quick. I feel like we got that done super fast.
Yeah.
But our view, so pretty. Okay, we just got our tent set up and we're trying out the padding that we have, and honestly, pretty cozy. So
10 out of 10.
Hi guys, it's the next day. We got home from camping last night. We had such a fun trip. We only stayed out there for one night because we're kind of done at that point. Well, we as in I was a little bit done at that point. The weather was honestly pretty good until night came around, and then it kind of rained on and off. But luckily our tent had a really nice tarp on it, and so we didn't get wet. But it was super nice to hear the rain on top of the tent. That's like my favorite thing ever, is sleeping with the window open when it's raining, because I just love how rain sounds. We had a really fun time. We obviously built a campfire, made s'mores. S'mores are like my weakness. I'm obsessed with s'mores. I had probably like 5 or 6 s'mores, which is sad to admit, but it was so much fun, and I may say that I might be converting into a little bit of a camper. We went to a super beautiful area that had mountains everywhere. I did bring my book and I read this at night while I was in the tent because I didn't fall asleep until probably like 2 or 3 in the morning, just because it kept raining on and off and I wasn't sure if we were gonna have to run to the car to sleep in the car, but it all ended up being fine. But I got really far into this book. I only have an hour left of The Ministry of Time on audiobook, and so I think I'm gonna finish listening to the rest of it because, like I said earlier, I'm really enjoying the audiobook. I feel like the narrator is doing a great job with it. You guys probably aren't gonna believe this because it's literally the middle of April, but it has been snowing all day, and so I've been kind of cleaning up from our camping trip. We have so many loads of laundry because we brought like every single blanket that we have in our house, and so doing laundry right now. I just did like a little bit of a refresh to our apartment, and so there's nothing I really need to get done. But I haven't touched my scrapbook in a couple of weeks, and so I think I may do some scrapbooking while we finish listening to the audiobook so that I can stay busy, because if not, my mind's gonna wander and I'm gonna end up scrolling on my phone while the audiobook is playing. Let's do some scrapbooking and finish this audiobook. Okay, I have 45 minutes left of the book so far, and we just had a crazy plot twist happen, and it's kind of making me look back on the book, and now I'm like questioning everything about the book and looking back and trying to like piece things together. So I'm really enjoying that. My only thing so far is that I feel like, I say this in a lot of my videos, but I feel like the ending is happening so abruptly. I feel like we were just getting to know the expat and like following their journey, and there was a little bit of romance, and then all of a sudden everything's like concluding very quickly, and I feel like it came out of nowhere, and that's like one of my biggest pet peeves with books. So I'm enjoying it so far. I have 45 minutes left of the audiobook, but I might speed it up a little bit because this audiobook is really good, but the narrator does take a lot of pauses. I'm working on my scrapbook right now. I have like 2 pages almost done. My camera battery just died, so I needed to go get another one. But what I was saying is that I'm working on my scrapbook right now. I love doing scrapbooking so much. It's just so relaxing. And I have about 2 pages almost done. So I'm doing an aquarium page because we visited 2 different aquariums when we were in Japan. And then I also am doing a McDonald's page because if you know Hunter, you know that he loves McDonald's. And so that's what I'm working on right now. I'm gonna continue doing that, but I just wanna hop on here and say that a crazy plot twist happened and my mind's a little bit blown. So that's my update so far. Proof of Snow in April. Hi guys, so I haven't finished the book just yet. I still have 20 minutes left on audiobook, and I am gonna finish it right after this. So it's been like an hour and a half since I last updated you guys, and I was just gonna finish it all in one sitting, but I was scrolling through Facebook Marketplace because I do that occasionally. I've never bought anything from Facebook Marketplace. If you guys know anything about me, I love Harry Potter so much, and I've been wanting a Harry Potter book set for my shelf, but I've never been able to find one that I really like. I feel like they keep coming out with new editions, and I just don't really love the artwork on them. The only Harry Potter book covers that I love is the original ones that I grew up with, and I can't find them in good condition anywhere, and they're always so expensive. But I was scrolling on Facebook Marketplace, and I found this lady selling the full set for $50, which is an insane steal. And so I messaged her, and I just went and picked them up. I'm obsessed. These are in perfect condition. It's 7 of the hardbacks, and like I said, I literally got them for $50, which I felt like I was like kind of robbing her. But these are hardcovers, and she said that they've never been used. So I am so happy about this find. They're in perfect condition. There's literally no scrapes. Even the dust jackets are in perfect condition. This is the best Facebook Marketplace find that I've ever found, and I'm just so happy because these are the ones that I grew up with reading. So I did pause my audiobook, but I'm gonna start getting back into that because I'm going to finish that tonight. But I had to show you guys that because I am just so happy with this find. This is like my dream book set. So, oh wait, actually I need to show you guys my scrapbook as well. I did work on 3 pages, and I don't know if my creative juices weren't flowing or what was going on, but I feel like I'm not in love with how these pages look. So I'm gonna show you guys, but I'm gonna come back to work on these probably tomorrow and get them looking how I want them to look, because these other pages, I'm obsessed with how they turned out. I did these in one of my other vlogs, and I feel like they just turned out so cute and aesthetic. So this is the first page that I worked on. Like I said, this is horrible. I need to redo these, but this is our aquarium page. On this page, I have our aquarium receipt and then both of the tickets, and I feel like I just need to add something like right here and right here. So I think I'm gonna write aquarium in this top corner, and then I did have a little paragraph about this aquarium on here, but when I went to glue it down, the pen smeared everywhere, and so I took that off. And then Hunter had a really good idea to do like a construction paper clownfish over here because they had a lot of clownfish and goldfish, so I think I'm gonna do that. We did go to 2 aquariums while we were in Japan, and so I did the second aquarium on this page. This is just me looking into one of the huge tanks that they had. And then this was the ticket from there and the mat from there. Again, I'm not in love with this page, but I'm gonna come back and add some things on here to make it a lot cuter. And then the last page that I did, which I still need to add stuff to, is a McDonald's page. If you guys know anything about Hunter, he loves McDonald's. So when we were in Japan, we had a McDonald's like 3 minutes from our hotel. And so we'd get McDonald's breakfast very often because a lot of places weren't open for breakfast in Japan, which was interesting. And we were kind of jet lagged. And so we'd get up like 5 a.m. every single day. And so this is a receipt from one of those McDonald's runs. This is Hunter ordering at the kiosk. And then I did write McDonald's on the side over here, but it's just missing something. I think I want to print off like a McDonald's logo and put it in the corner and just make it a lot cuter. So that's my scrapbooking update. But the rest of the night, we are just going to be hanging out at home. It is still snowing on and off outside, which is horrible. So I'm going to be finishing the Ministry of Time. I'm going to listen to the last 20 minutes, and then I'm probably going to get ready for bed and start our new book, which I'm very excited about. Hi guys, it's been a couple days since I've last updated you. I think it's actually been 2 days to be exact, but I did finish the Ministry of Time on an audiobook the other night like you guys saw, and I wanted to come on here and give you guys a little update and a little bit of a rating and my thoughts on this book. So I'm going to be giving this book a 3-star, which really isn't a horrible rating. I thought that the book was okay. I don't know if I would personally recommend this, but also I'm not a huge science fiction person, and so I don't know if my review will hold as much weight as someone who really enjoys science fiction. I feel like this book book had a lot of good elements. Thought that the plot was interesting enough. We have our Bridge, and basically what she is she works for the Ministry of Time, and she's in charge of an expat, which is Commander Gore. He was pulled from the 1800s, and so she's here to acclimate him into daily life. Basically, the first 75% of the book is about that, and it's basically just their day-to-day lives living together. Honestly, I found that a little bit boring. There were certain things that kind of had me laughing, like her explaining Spotify and washing machines, and just different things that he didn't quite understand. He also went through and discovered a bunch of things like the Holocaust and what happened to the crew on the expedition, and so it was interesting to see his point of view on that as someone coming from the past. It felt like there was a little bit of a disconnect. I feel like I wasn't very connected to either of our characters. I felt like we didn't really know too much about them, and we were kind of just given surface level facts, if that makes any sense. There was a lot of mystery surrounding the actual Ministry of Time. Because our Bridge was a little bit lower class, she didn't really know that much either, and so we were just presented with what the Bridge knew, which is totally fine. I just feel like there was a lot of potential with this book that was a little bit wasted. There was a really big plot twist at the end, which I ended up enjoying a lot actually, and I feel like it added a lot of depth, and so that's the reason I gave it a 3-star instead of like a 2-star, because the plot twist was pretty good. The pacing was also very off in my opinion. I feel like I was never really sure what time it was and how much time had passed in between what was going on. Really looking forward to this. I've seen a lot of really great reviews on this, so I kind of feel like maybe I missed out on something that everyone else saw in this book, which is always the worst when people love a book and you just don't really love it. But I feel like I was a little bit let down with this one. I don't know if I would recommend it, but the plot twist did help a little bit, so I ended up giving this one a 3-star. All in all, I'm glad I read it because I was able to get this off my TBR, and I still love the cover. The next book that I picked up that I've had on my shelf for a minute and that I've been wanting to read for a very long time is The Book Thief. The cover that I have actually is black, so this worked out perfectly. I actually picked up this book in Japan when I was there, and I've never seen this cover, and so I knew that I had to have it. It's really cool because it still has the Japanese barcoded sticker on the back, which I'm obsessed with, and I think this cover is just super beautiful. If you guys know anything about the book, this cover does make sense. So on the front there's a little girl, and then there's kind of like the Grim Reaper / death, and I'll explain that a little bit. Like I said, it's been 2 days since I've updated you guys, and so I have made a decent chunk of progress into this book because I've just been loving it. I absolutely love historical fiction, especially books that take place over World War II. I just have a fascination with learning about that time period. And so I am, let's see, it says I'm 217 pages in, and that's almost 50%. I want to give you guys a little bit of a summary based on what I've read because I feel like I'm far enough into this that I could tell you guys what's going on a little bit. The cool thing about this book is it is narrated in a point of view that I've never really seen in a book, and that is the point of view of Death himself. This book takes place during World War III in Nazi Germany in the year of 1939. Basically, we have our main character, Liesel, and she is a little girl. I believe she's 7 or 8 when the story starts, and she's put into foster care. We are never really told the reason why so far. I'm about 217 pages in, and so I'm sure we'll learn the reason why, and I'm guessing it has something to do with her mom either being a Jew or associated with Jews, and so all we know is that she's put into foster care and she's given to a family called the Hubermans. I believe that's how you pronounce their name. Let me make sure that that's actually right because I would hate to be pronouncing their name wrong. Yes, so she's given to her foster parents, Rosa and Hans Huberman, and they live in Nazi Germany. They're not Jewish. They're a little bit in the clear, but honestly not really at the same time, because her dad Hans did try and apply to become part of the Nazi group because he wants safety for his family, but he still has his application pending because he's a painter by trade and he's just a very kind man. And there was something that happened where a Jew's store was destroyed, and he went back the next day and repainted the Jew's entire store. Because of that, he has not been granted access into this Nazi group. Hans knew a lot of really good Jewish people, and because of that, he doesn't believe anything that the Nazi Party stands for, but he kind of has to act like he does because in this time it's very dangerous to even be seen with a Jew. Him and his whole family are kind of playing this part of the perfect Nazi following family. Hans is one of my favorite characters in this book because he is so kind to Liesel, which is the foster daughter. She has a lot of nightmares at night, and he is always coming into her room and sleeping with her. Liesel really wants to be able to read and write, and so Hans takes the time to teach her in the basement every single night how to read and write, and she comes to love reading. But because of this time period, her family is struggling financially. Her mom does a lot of laundry for people in town, but because of the way that the war is progressing, no one can afford to have these services done, and so her family is slowly losing all of their income, which means that they're not able to afford to buy books. hence the title, The Book Thief. The Nazi officers have gone around and burnt a lot of books that were either written by Jews, owned by Jews, or have Jews in them, and so she's stolen a few of these books. That puts her family at a large risk if anybody were to see this. It's really interesting because as Liesl grows up, she's kind of starting to get her own opinion on Hitler and the Nazi Party. She has to keep this all under wraps because she can't let anyone know her true feelings about it. She's also coming to find out things about her birth parents. One of the big plot points of this book that just happened is her dad and her mom decide to harbor a Jew in their basement, which is very dangerous, and they're trying to keep him hidden and safe, but I imagine that this is not going to be a great thing for their family. That's just the kind of people that Liesl and her foster parents are. They're very kind people. And so I'm really enjoying this book. I feel like a lot of times I read historical fictions from the point of view of the Jews, but it's also interesting to read it from the point of view of the Germans that don't agree with Hitler. Hoping that I can finish this today. I know that's a very tall order, but the weather is so nice out, and so I'm hoping to read this on my balcony, get a lot further in, and finish this book. So I will keep you guys updated on that. So far, I'm really loving this book. I'm loving all of the characters. I feel like I'm very connected to Liesl and her foster parents. Hi guys, so it's the afternoon right now and the weather is actually really nice. It says that it's supposed to be like 74 degrees out. I don't know if that's true, but I'm gonna go for a walk and listen to The Book Thief on audiobook. Right now, Liesl and her best friend Rudy, which is a next door neighbor, are having to learn to steal food because the war has progressed in a way where their families are no longer able to afford food because they don't have jobs with an income coming in. So right now they're learning to steal. They're just stealing apples and potatoes and easy things that they can steal from farmers. But because they're so hungry, every time they eat anything, they just throw it up because it's more food than they're used to. Honestly, really sad. It's already making me emotional imagining these little kids doing that just because they're so hungry. It's kind of crazy how a couple clips ago it was literally snowing and now it's 70 degrees, but that just sums up where I live. So I'm gonna go for a walk. I hope that the wind isn't too bad. It says that there could be some windy conditions, so I brought a jacket just in case. Hey guys, I'm home from my walk. I did just under 3 miles, which is right around where I wanted to be. Very happy about that, and I listened to the audiobook the entire time. So it says that I have 2.5 hours left of the book on audiobook. So I got home from my walk, making dinner with Hunter. We're making ground beef, rice, salsa verde. I love making homemade salsa, so we're doing that right now, and then I'm hoping to just read the rest of the night. So it should be a pretty good night. The weather was so beautiful out. It was a little bit windy, but that's honestly fine. So making dinner in the background, and then we're just gonna be hanging out the rest of the night. Hi guys, it's the next day and I planned on finishing the book this morning. When I got in bed, I only had 20% of the book left and I had no self-control and I had to finish the story. So I did finish The Book Thief and I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a book review and my thoughts on it. This ending was so sad. If you've read this book, then you know, but I'm so happy that I finally chose to read this book. I am gonna give this book a 5-star, which is big for me because I don't really rate a lot of books 5 stars, but I really enjoyed this book. I felt like it was so emotional. The pacing was perfect. The story was beautiful. I connected with all of the characters so much and I really loved Liesl and following her story. I felt like it was written very well and the author did a great job telling this hard story. One thing that I was reminded of while reading this and just seeing Liesl and her friend Rudy interact is that there is so much goodness to be seen, and even if you're going through something like they were going through, they still found little things to be grateful for and happy for. They still loved playing soccer in the streets. They still looked forward to stealing their apples. And I think that that is a really deep concept of even if you're going through something horrible, you can look for the good. And if they can do it, then that means that I can do that as well. So I thought that that was a great reminder to just be grateful for what you have and where you're at in life. I would definitely recommend this book. I don't give out 5 stars very much, but this one just touched me. The ending was devastating and I did find myself tearing up in bed when I finished the last, I would say, like 50 pages of this book. All in all, I just really enjoyed this. So definitely give this a read. Even if you're not into historical fiction, I would say pick this up. There's a reason that it's so popular. I believe it has like a overall 4.63 star rating on Goodreads. When I started this video, I said that I would hope to pick 2 to 3 books, but the week has come to an end, so those are the only 2 books that I'm going to be reading, just because that's a pretty typical reading week for me. I read anywhere between like 2 to 3 books a week, but this week, since we were a little bit busy, I was only able to read those 2. I thought that this challenge was super fun and it was really nice to be able to narrow down some book options on my TBR. I wanted to thank you guys for watching this video and supporting. I hope that you enjoyed today's video and I hope to see you in my next one.